The homework for the new government is how to grow the country's economy, create jobs, increase people's income, provide welfare, and reduce poverty. This requires a growth that is not only higher, but inclusive and sustainable. I talked to Bambang Brojonegoro, now the new Minister of Finance, on the kind of growth strategy that Indonesia needs in the years ahead. There's a lot of homework for the next government, which is basically also a continuation of the present government. Now, looking at the political situation, and we cannot hide from the fact that there will be difficulties in the years, the 5 years ahead with the relationship between the executive and the legislative. And also, you know, basically the main roadblock up until now, even with a much more coherent government, is implementation. How optimistic are you, Pak Bambang, that even though we have good policies or good ideas on how to strategize our growth, that we can actually do it in the next 5 years?
I think the key for doing a successful implementation of any 5 years plan of the next government would be the proposal designed by the new government itself. So any proposal, especially to help, improving people welfare, proposal to speed up infrastructure development, and proposal to do more equitable development, I think should be delivered in a proper way and convincing for everybody. So if you start with a good proposal, it will be difficult for any party who oppose the government to come up with, different or alternative scenario. Why? Because if you already come up with a good proposal, then the counter proposal should be even better. And that's not easy, given the limitation in our situation. I think once we can convince many, stakeholders, parties, then hopefully it will go through. And of course, we hope that what happened in the Indonesian Parliament today will not replicate what happened in U.S. Congress.
Yes, Pak Bambang, in order for us to grow and to be one of the world's largest economies, and also to make sure that our growth benefits everybody, could you give me some figures, exactly the kind of, what percentage of growth do we actually need? And what can we do in order to increase the labor, market, as well as, creating job opportunities, so that our demographic dividends, demographic bonus is actually a positive thing for us, as opposed to, lower growth, but lower productivity, low skilled and low value.
So, if we try to use the benchmark for the high-income country, so let's say we agree that our destination someday would be Indonesia to be part of the high-income country, then our simulation showing that if we grow by 9% annually, consistently, then we might be there by 2030. That would be the earliest.
Years time.
Yeah, that would be the earliest even. But if we grow, following our best condition recently, which is 70%, still relatively high, with 7%, annual growth consistently, then we might be there in 2040. So another 10-year delay. So let's take 2040 as our destination and our target. But then, of course, the issue about whether the growth will be equitable, will be creating job opportunities. If we use current condition in which 1% economic growth, creating around 200,000 jobs, then if we grow by 7%, meaning that we create around 1.4 million. And of course, 1.4 million would be a relatively small number, because then we still have new labor force coming to the labor market. So what we need to do is not just speed up the growth, that would be quite difficult, but trying to be not just following the global trend. As you just mentioned, the global trend now is more on the capital intensive, technology intensive. That's why, for example, US has problem with the inequality, and the rich people getting richer while the poor left behind. So first, I think we need to strengthen our small and medium enterprise. If we support them, especially SME in manufacturing, it could be light manufacturing, it could be medium-sized manufacturing, then they will start creating the jobs. And then if we start to modernizing our agriculture sector, then it's another source of job creation. So we have to try to get the 7% by so-called utilizing the local potential. So the SME, agriculture, and also our labor-intensive industry needs to be revitalized. Now we are losing the competitiveness of our labor-intensive, but I still believe part of the labor-intensive industry still has relatively strong competitive advantage compared to others.
I just want to ask you, what if you business as usual for the next 5 years, this year 5.2, next year 5.3, and then so on and so forth. Well, what's going to happen to Indonesia? In the meantime, 10, 15 years from now, our demographic dividend is actually lessening as our people are getting older. I mean, this is quite this is what the middle income trap we're talking about is?
For sure, middle income trap is in our side, I mean, if we do not do anything, business as usual. And secondly, don't forget, this demographic bonus might end in 2030. So it means, in the simple words, we need to be rich before 2030. So we need to be rich before getting old. That's the simplest word that I can say. So any efforts cannot start, later. It has to start as early as possible. And of course, new government will be a new momentum to start something new, to do the reform, because then what they are going to do in next 5 years will be important for the next steps. Because you cannot imagine if they do business as usual in the next 5 years, then the 2019 administration will have even, a bigger difficulty to catch up with this middle income trap and how to make people, get their welfare before demographic bonus ending.